Welcome to the Ideas Powered for Business Talks today on the SME Fund. Hi, I'm Sabina from the EU IPO, and I'm here with my EU IPO colleagues and my SME Fund experts, Coro and Jakub. And we're here to tell you about the financial help that we can provide you with, you as intended as being a startup or small and medium-sized enterprise. We are really here to help you grow your business, protect your business ideas through intellectual property. You know, very often intellectual property doesn't come first to your mind when you think of launching a business. It may seem too intangible, maybe too cost intensive, time intensive. But did you know that actually a small enterprise that invests into an intellectual property right, be it a trademark or a design, actually has a 10% more growth experience than those who don't? Also, and you may know that, intellectual property is a fantastic asset to increase your competitiveness and ultimately to stop others from copying you. This is why the European Commission and the EU IPO have recently launched a grant scheme, the so-called SME Fund, of 47 million euros to help you protecting your ideas, your creativity, your innovations. So I'm here with my colleagues who will now answer the most frequently asked questions. I would like to start with Jacob and asking him, what can actually the SME Fund do for me?
Well, actually, it's intellectual property that can help your business to be protected in a global market. And we help you by offering refunds on intellectual property fees with vouchers ranging from 50 to 90% of the total cost of registration of your trademark, design, or patent.
So it's really an impressive refund scheme for up to 90% of intellectual property. What exactly is intellectual property, Coro?
Well, intellectual property is the best way to legally protect your business creations and innovations from being copied or used by others, giving you market exclusivity and even generating more income for your business. There are several basic types of IP rights, trademark, designs, patents, but let me give you an example. My glasses, the brand and logo is protected with a trademark. The appearance, the form, the colors is protected by designs, and the technology that involves the lens with patents.
Well, that's really a nice example to see intellectual property through a pair of new glasses. But then, Jakob, where do I actually start in the fund?
Well, the same as you protect your assets, such as a house, by registering them in your name, you should do the same with your intellectual property. This might sound complicated, but in fact, it's not, and we can help you on the way. You can start by using our free intellectual property consultation available on our website.
And what kind of reimbursements is actually available there for me?
It's quite an extensive list. We refund fees on trademark, designs, and patents. To have an idea, for example, a European design costs 300 euros to register. With the fund, you can receive 225 bucks, so it only costs you 75. Additionally, for some countries, there is also a more complete service called IP Scan or IP Repair Diagnostic to design a complete intellectual property strategy, and the cost of this service is 90% refundable by the SME fund.
Well, that's a very interesting feature as well, the IP scan. Thank you for mentioning that. Jakub, though, I mean, it was a lot of information. Where can I actually have a complete overview of all the numbers and possibilities?
You can find all information on our website in your language. We have worked very hard to make the information clear, simple, and user-friendly. You should see the link to our website below right now. You can also check our social media, LinkedIn and Twitter for more details.
Cora, can I just ask you a question more on a personal level? You've been working with the fund for more than a year. What is your most gratifying experience with it?
Well, this is the first time that a European fund has been implemented for the protection of intellectual property rights. And it's very gratifying to see how small companies and micro companies with a limited economic resources have access to this IP right thanks to our effort, our financial support.
Yeah, I think we as the EU IPO really try to work hand in hand with the SMEs, which is quite a novelty. At this point, I would like to extend the questions to our audience, and I would like to begin with my colleague Alberto, who has collected some other frequently asked questions. Alberto.
Yes, hello, thank you, Sabina. Yeah, so my colleague Vanilla and I, we work at the IPO directly with SMEs, and we have collected some frequently asked questions. Sometimes they would like to know how often or how many times a startup, an SME can can apply for this new SME fund?
Well, you can apply for our vouchers once a year, and you have up to 6 months to start using them. In fact, we are receiving new applications from companies that received the fund last year.
Okay, thank you. So another frequently asked question is they want to know when an SME and a startup, they already have some IP rights registered, such a patent or design or a trademark, if they can apply to this new SME fund to cover this previous IP right.
No, you should first apply for a grant within the SME fund. Then, after a positive decision from the UIPO, you register your trademark, design, or patent, and then you receive refund. But do not worry, because the majority of applicants receive a positive grant decision.
I think that's a very encouraging remark, Jakob. Thanks for that. I would now like to turn to my colleague Vani, who has also some more questions.
Yes, I also work with the SME program, and I've recently been asked several times who can apply for the fund.
Well, any European Union small or medium company can apply for the fund. You can do it yourself or use an intellectual property representative.
Others also ask if they can apply for rights in the EU or further abroad too.
You may also apply for a grant for trademark or design outside of the EU. Please check our frequently asked questions section on our website for more information.
Well, I would like to really thank you for all your questions and the expert answers, and see you at the next EUIPO talk. So certainly a lot of questions have been answered, maybe a lot of information for you to digest. So we do invite you to check our website, follow also our social media, and obviously you can contact us via mail, via phone, by any channel you would like to use. In a nutshell, there are 2,250 euros waiting out there for you to be redeemed. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We see you again in one of our forthcoming Ideas for Powered Business Talks. Until then, bye-bye.